Did you know that failure can actually be a blessing in disguise? My name is Mwai, and what a great pleasure it is for me to share just a few thoughts from the Holy Scriptures. We are all afraid of failing. Nobody wants to fail. We work so hard so that we may succeed. But I've learned in life, in my short life, that sometimes failure is actually a blessing in disguise, because at that place when I have failed, when you have failed, when we have failed, and we feel so miserable about it, I have learned that at that position of humiliation, that position of humility, it is easier for me to rise up. It is easier for me to get into a position of prayer. It is easier for me to reflect. It actually, when I have failed and I'm down on the ground and I'm in the dust, it is a good place for me to reflect, to think through my life. Actually, I am at my best when it comes to my thought life when I've actually failed, because it is a place of deep humility. When you think of your own life, the best times that you prayed, those days or the moments or the seasons where you really felt you connected with God, it was most likely in the seasons that you failed the most. When you look at servants of God in the Bible, where they talk about David, a man after God's own heart, he was probably at his best when he actually failed. Now, I am not saying that to justify failure. I'm just saying that because failure is a human thing. We will fail at one point or the other. And I'm not even praying that you will fail. But when we do fail, I think it's for us to reflect and take a step back and to realize that in this failure, there's definitely a blessing somewhere. I have learned that God is close to those who are actually brokenhearted. So I don't know, maybe what you're dealing with. Maybe you have failed in the not so distant past. Maybe you're even dealing with failure even as we speak. Whether it's a financial failure, maybe it's a marital failure, maybe it's a career or your business. Maybe you started a business and it went down, or one failure or the other. And maybe you're feeling down and you're feeling that your life is not going to amount to anything. I have some good news for you. Failure is never final. Actually, failure is never fatal. And it is possible for you to rise up from it. Talk to any person who is successful in one thing or the other. And I promise you that those are people who are familiar with failure. Sometimes the most successful people are the people who actually failed the most. So what do I do when I have failed? Here is what you do. Number one is to realize that failure is not final. Failure does not define who we are. Failure is never fatal. It is not supposed to be a permanent thing. All right, so the first thing I must recognize is that failure is not final. And no matter how far you have fallen, how difficult it has been, or how far you have failed, it is not final. And you have to keep reminding, because sometimes when we fail, we want to give up, we want to wash our hands, we want to hang our boots, we want to say, listen, I don't want to do this anymore. But I want to tell you that it is not final. Number two, when you fail, whatever area, please, on your way up, I like what somebody said, on your way up, pick up some lessons. Always pick up a few lessons. Always reflect and ask yourself, yes, I failed here. What have I learned? What did I learn from that situation? What could I have done differently? Always reflect and always pick up a few. There's always a lesson or two to be learned when we have failed. But then number three is this: please pick yourself up again. Always remember, failure is not final. Pick up a few lessons, but pick yourself up again. You must learn to get out of the ground, dust yourself, and get back in the game. You must. There's some things nobody can do for you. People will encourage you, even when you have failed, but you must pick yourself. Nobody can pick you up out of your failure. You must learn to pick yourself up from that failure and get back in the game. Get back, show up again, and try again. But then the fourth thing is this, that you must try again. And you must never stop trying. Because even after we have failed, opportunities will always present themselves, and you must keep trying. You must keep doing your best. Grab at every opportunity. Don't give up. Don't be afraid All right. And then finally is that you must deal with your fears. Because all of us, every now and then, we have to defeat our fears. There will always be fears that are associated with failure. When I have failed, I am afraid. I'm afraid that will I fail again? But I must deal with that failure. I must overcome that fear so that I can be able to move on to the next thing. Please remember this, that failure may be painful, but there is a blessing. In every failure, there is always a blessing. No matter how difficult it has been, there is always a blessing. Why? Because God is a God of many, many chances, not just a second chances, but He's a God of many, many chances. And I want to encourage somebody, maybe you have failed. I want to tell you it is not over. You can rise up again from that failure, pick up a few lessons, and there are opportunities, and may the Lord bless you as you pick yourself up. Again, please share this with somebody. Let somebody find encouragement, and let somebody's life also be built up, and let somebody maybe who has also failed also find some encouragement even through this word. Please, so go ahead and share this message with as many people as you can, and may the Lord bless you.